My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today, we are going to be looking at, one of the OGs on the blockchain. This was one of the first altcoins derived from BTC's source code, original source code, the original blockchain. It's got a story to tell. And today we'll be evaluating the likelihood of profitability if you were to buy this altcoin during the year of 2024. This is LTC to the BTC. On a 343, we go float it on the boss method and help you make some money like a boss. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result, and today is no exception. So before we jump into it, make sure you leave a comment on this video. Guess the price of Bitcoin on Friday. I'm coming on the air. We go do a live stream every Friday, and I'm giving away free BTC to whoever comes the closest, right? It's like the price is right. You come the closest, you can't go over. And somebody go win some free Bitcoin. Compliments to the boy BK. So make sure you leave the comment on this video what you think the price of Bitcoin will be on Friday. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. So this is one of, I guess, the inspiration for this video. My man, Grandma's Giant Gaper. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's him. He is him. I don't invest in Litecoin, but I plan on DCN from here on out. 88% of the supply is minted. That's a pretty good amount. That means only 12% of the supply is yet to be created, which means it's already, been dispersed. Imagine Bitcoin when, the reward cuts down in half about 2 more times, and you got 18 million, 19 million BTC floating in circulation. That means that it's accessible, but the future supply is limited, very, very limited compared to the past. So relatively speaking, it's a sacred value, a limited resource, more evolved in its supply chain, like the lifetime, right? Fast transactions that cost a cent. This is, I think, probably really, and granted, there are other networks that have done this, but when, Litecoin came out, I don't know why it does that. Why do I want to embed? When Litecoin came out with the Lightning Network, that was rumored to be replacing Visa behind the scenes. And, I know it's a lot of other coins that do this now too, that they are probably working with behind the scenes. But essentially, when you look at like the transaction speed for Visa, right? Let's just do this real quick. Visa versus Litecoin transaction speed, right? Because this was one of the huge, I think, caveats for Bitcoin's usability as a financial processing gateway, right? Now you have Solana, which it looks like it's leading the charge transaction per second. So here you go right here. Transaction speeds, Visa and PayPal, right? Visa has 24,000 transactions per second, right? Ripple is 1,500. The Lightning Network, let's see, milliseconds, cross-border payments, instants, full transparency, right there. I would imagine it's higher than 56, right? But nonetheless, it gives it viability as an alternative to the status quo. Something is going to either supplement or replace Visa. insofar as day-to-day monetary transactions. You go to your gas station, you pump your gas, you swipe that card. Guess what? In 10 to 15 years, it won't be running on the same network that it's running on today. You can just about guarantee that, right? And so now we're almost at this paradigm. I think this is probably a better right there. Transactions per second, 16. No, that's not what I want. Ay, ay, ay. Somebody out there, let me know how many. Let's see. There it goes. That's decent. 1 million transactions per second, right? I mean, I knew it was incredible, right? And it's crazy. It's crazy that this is like, this could very well be the network that day to day peer to consumer transactions run on, right? It's much faster and much, quote, lighter than Bitcoin. And that is why I think it has usability, perhaps more usability as a financial product than BTC does, right? One of the most known, widely accepted cryptos on the market. Number two, household name, $5 billion liquidity, right? And right now, it looked like it's a bargain. $65. It's crazy. Crazy. Look at CoinMarketCap. This thing is still sitting, number 19 in the world. Right? Now, granted, it's had a huge fall off. Like if you look at, all, and this is dollars, right? We're just going to evaluate dollars for the time being. Back in the heyday, this thing was sitting north of $300. Now it's down to 65, right? But you do have some intermediary support right down there, north of $60 that it's found comfort in over the years. So perhaps this is one of the times where if you look at risk to reward, it hasn't really gone lower than 60, for very long. So maybe it's a low risk, high reward play, right? And that's what I wanted to look at on this chart. This is LTC to the USD, right? It's a little bit cleaner when you compare it to dollars for whatever reason. So that's what I want to do the analysis on, right? Right here, when you zoom in between 2021 and 2024, we have this nice little descending wedge, right? To where, right? To where eventually it's going to have to come out of that pattern. And on the blockchain for crypto, that's normally a bullish pattern, right? But this is why I tell you, you always want to measure to BTC, because while it looks like, right? Where's my little paintbrush here? While it looks like Litecoin can easily do that out of that pattern, and hit its head on 100, between 100 and 120, right? Right now it's at 65. You just doubled your dollars. Congratulations. But wait, let's look at LTC to BTC, because I think this chart tells the tale. And as you can see, this is a do not buy scenario. You know what I'm saying? That's just bad on bad on bad, right? The dollar side looks great, but the BTC side is net negative, growing by the day. And it probably needs, the better part of 3 to 6 months to even return to neutral. Like we haven't been, net positive on Bitcoin since, 16 months. That's a long time on the blockchain. That's years on the blockchain. 16 months is like 3 years. Might as well be in the cryptoverse, right? Everything moves faster over here, right? And so this is a do not buy for LTC, probably for at least the first few months of 2024. We would have to see a complete reversal. And it's so many other charts that you don't have this net negative momentum, month over month, that it needs to overcome. For example, Bitcoin outperformed Litecoin essentially for the past year. That's what this chart is showing. Basically, the entire, year of 2023, Bitcoin outperformed Litecoin, right? You really, when you get into these altcoins, you want to see the altcoin flat, if not ascending to the right. That means you have more money coming into the altcoin than you do Bitcoin. It's like a waterfall. It's like Bitcoin's at the top of the waterfall, then you have the altcoins, then you have the derivative, but then you got Wall Street. It's like Niagara Falls. That's like, the whole ocean just sitting out there waiting to go through this one little bitty portal, known as blockchain. So it's literally the precipice of a great flood. But this coin does not look like it's set up to do well. Now, I'm not saying if you value dollars, by all means, go get you some Litecoin and you can hold your dollars pretty good. But if you value Bitcoin, then the story's a little bit different, right? And that's what I try to tell you guys more than anything. Change your values, change your worth. Bitcoin is the predecessor for value acclamation in our lifetime, point blank period. There will be nothing better, and if it is, then, I might have something to do with it one day. But until then, and that probably won't be for another few decades, but until then, Bitcoin is a godfather. Like, it's the Don. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect it. Like, Bitcoin is the sun, right? Blockchain is the light. They are together. They're indistinguishable from each other. And they're creating a new paradigm, creating a new universe, creating a new realm of energy, entities that society will use, will create, will leverage, and will intertwine in such said respective societies, right? It's an amazing time to be alive. This is a new chart, total 2, right? On Coin market cap, total 2, again, shows a lot of money coming into the altcoins. These are dollars, right? More dollars are coming into the altcoins. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why the dollar chart looks like it's holding so well, because they're just accounting, okay, well, it's top 20 coin, man, 5% is going to go to Litecoin. Boom. Dollar chart looks okay, but BTC, not so much. That means Bitcoin is still going to be getting more dollars than Litecoin in the next foreseeable future, which means you should not trade for it, right? Like I told you before, if it ain't paying, it ain't staying. And this sure as hell ain't no soup kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and eat, because now we have sight into what the foreseeable future looks like, right? One of the things I wanted to compare the ratio, kind of the speculation. I know when Charlie Lee made Litecoin, if you haven't seen it, out there in YouTube somewhere, there is a video of him doing like a 2 or 3 hour dissertation on his theology he used to create Litecoin, with like recreating the Genesis block and what the Genesis block even is. A lot of people don't even know that's a thing. Like, before God said anything, he had to program what he was gonna say. It's crazy when you think about it. Anybody ever think about why he even had to talk? Like, who was he talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole dissertation I got, in the works. It's called God Speaks, but it's gonna be crazy, right? These are like the thoughts running through my mind right now. Like, who was he talking to? But little do we know, in order for any thought to be activated through your mouth, in order for any words to be enunciated in your voice, your mind had to create it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he thought it before he said it. So now it goes to the thought process, to your mind, to your brain. What do you think, right? Because that predecesses anything that you experience in this world, and what you think ultimately, when you become convicted in it, that ultimately derives what you know. And what you know, in turn, determines your sight and your perception and your reality and your experience. But it starts with a thought, a fraction of a second, right? People don't think about that. Like, in order for you to, like, because that's how some people could speak 5, 6, 7 different languages. Their brain is just programmed to parallel on different tracks to where they could pick it up on one sentence, be speaking French, 2 minutes later be speaking Portuguese, come back to English and rewind it in Spanish, all back from the top, right? But it's like their mind is running in parallels. So it's like, it's trained, it's programmed to, fabricate the reality that is emitted through their voice, right? God's mind was a lot more powerful than his voice ever would be, but he still said it. So here we are, right? All right. That's my, yeah, I digress. That's my soapbox right there. Gold silver ratio. Charlie Lee in his dissertation talking about the Genesis block, bring it back. He said that he wanted Litecoin to be silver to Bitcoin's gold. Those are his words exactly. And so when you start to look at, okay, well, what's the better buy? You can start to look at like, how does it come out? Like, that one of the things they mention is like, it's already 88% in circulation. So technically, the future is going to be more scarce than the present, right? And this starts to allude to the gold to silver ratio. Like, what is the ratio that this asset is coming out into circulation? What is the ratio that we expect it to continue? And it starts to play some of these psychology games on the market, right? I am a big fan of silver over gold. I think countries and governments are built, hoarding gold. And its usability for economies. And real quick, I forgot to say this again, but if you value any of this information, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, show me some love in the comments. That's why we're doing our free Bitcoin giveaway. Tell Big Brother on the algorithm that this is valuable content, and he go help our community grow alive and well. But back in the day, they said gold came out of the ground like a 12-to-1 ratio, right? Now it's coming out at like an 87-to-1. That means it's 5 times under produced, right? Which means technically it should be 5 times more valuable than what it is, all things being equal. Kind of based off the gold standards. So, I'm a big fan in gold. I'm a big fan in Litecoin. Like, they talking about 1 million transactions per second. I just say, just wait until, it's beating Bitcoin. Otherwise, you better having your money in BTC, because that's going to continue to accumulate more dollars per IOTA unit time insofar as Litecoin is concerned, as it is spoken via the boss method. You see, this is a whole language in itself. I ain't even got into that part. I done invented a whole new numerology, psychology, sociology, in this whole dissertation in itself. But like I said, that's something else that's coming. But Litecoin is now, silver is now 86 times to the unit of gold. It used to be 12-to-1, 5 times underproduced. So, all things being equal, silver should have a big breakout. And, silver price right now is what? $23, right? So you're looking at assets literally, an hour's worth of work at McDonald's could get you, a 1 ounce silver coin. That's fairly cheap insofar as global assets over time have been concerned. So I'm a big fan of silver. I'm a big fan of Charlie Lee and what he's been able to create with Litecoin and the network and the potential usability. However, I am not a fan of the chart insofar as Bitcoin is concerned. You can definitely do better with BTC, or you could do better with some of the coins mentioned in the profit package, right? Litecoin was not one of those coins mentioned in the profit packet for a reason. I just showed you in this video that it's not looking good on BTC, but one of the coins we already had on the profit package broke out for about 35% within 1 or 2 days after me putting the list out, and a few of the other coins are setting up to do quite well. So if you want to learn how to make money, if you want to learn how to trade like a boss, jump on over to bossofbitcoin.com. Go to VIP trading groups. Click that little B right there. And that'll take you to the VIP trading group. That's called the Profit Package. $50 for the first month, $100 thereafter. And we're going to make some money together. I told you, I'm building an army, and I don't want to be the only millionaire in my circle. I want 1 million millionaires behind me. And this is the best way I know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no fun if the homeboy don't get none. You know what I'm saying? And they call me Mr. Thanksgiving, because when I come through, I make sure everybody eat. You feel me? So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay. Brazil to Bay or California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player. One time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again. Stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss. Arms.